There is a box sitting in your kitchen right now. It costs about $1, maybe less if you caught a sale, and the company's selling you $25 fungicide sprays, $18 pest control bottles, and $30 soil amendment bags. They are absolutely terrified of it. Because if you knew what this little orange box could do in your garden, you would never waste another dollar on half those products again. I'm talking about baking soda. Plain, simple, ordinary baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. The same stuff you use to make your pancakes fluffy and keep your fridge from smelling like last Tuesday's leftovers. Today, I'm going to show you nine real science-backed field-tested uses for baking soda in your garden. Uses that professional growers know about, uses that extension programs have studied, uses that gardeners from Florida to Oregon are quietly using right now while their neighbors spend a fortune at the garden center. And I want you to stay with me all the way to number 9 because number 9 is the one most people completely overlook and it might be the most powerful of all. Let's get into it.
Use number 1. Killing powdery mildew. Dead. If you have ever grown squash, cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkins, roses, or tomatoes, you have met powdery mildew, that chalky white coating that creeps across your leaves like someone dusted them with flour. It looks harmless at first. It is not. Left alone, it blocks photosynthesis, weakens your plant, kills your yield, and spreads to every plant around it. Most people run to the store. They spend $15, $20, $25 on a fungicide spray. Some of those sprays work, some don't. And almost all of them contain chemicals you probably don't want sitting on your food. Here's what actually works. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda with 1 gallon of water. Add half a teaspoon of liquid dish soap. That helps it stick to the leaf. Spray your plants in the early morning, coating the tops and bottoms of the leaves. Do this every 7 to 10 days and at the first sign of mildew. The baking soda changes the pH on the surface of the leaf. Fungal spores need a slightly acidic environment to grow and spread. When you raise that surface pH, you create an environment where the fungus simply cannot survive. Studies from Cornell University back in the 1990s confirmed that sodium bicarbonate sprays significantly suppressed powdery mildew on a range of crops. This is not folk medicine, this is documented science. $1 of baking soda, 1 gallon of water. That's your fungicide.
Use number 2. Correcting acidic soil, raising your pH the gentler way. Most vegetables prefer a soil pH somewhere between 6.0 and 7.0. When your soil drops below that, nutrients get locked out. Your plants look yellow, stunted, and sad even when you fertilize them, because it doesn't matter how many nutrients are in the soil if the pH is wrong. The plants simply cannot absorb them. If a soil test tells you your pH is too low, you can raise it with lime, the traditional method. But lime takes weeks to work, it's easy to over-apply, and it can swing your pH too far in the other direction. Baking soda is gentler, slower, more forgiving. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of baking soda in 1 gallon of water and drench the soil around your plants. Test again after a week, repeat as needed. It raises pH gradually, giving your plants time to adjust and giving you time to course correct if you go too far. This works especially well in container gardens and raised beds, where you have more control over your soil volume and can monitor changes closely. Use number 3, making your tomatoes sweeter. Yes, really. This one surprises people every single time. If you've ever grown tomatoes and thought, they taste fine, but they're a little flat, a little acidic, this is for you. Tomato flavor is a balance between sugars and acids. The sweetness you taste in a great tomato is measured by something called the Brix level, essentially the sugar content. Professional growers obsess over Brix. When you lightly raise the soil pH with a baking soda drench, you reduce the acidity in the fruit itself. The result is a tomato that tastes noticeably sweeter, more balanced, more like something from a farmer's market and less like something from a grocery store shelf. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda per gallon of water and drench the soil, not the plant, the soil around your tomato plants once the fruits start forming. Do it once every 2 weeks. You are not changing the plant, you are changing the environment, and the plant responds.
Use number 4. Ant and pest deterrent, a simple barrier. Ants in the garden are sometimes helpful, sometimes a nuisance, and sometimes actively destructive, especially when they're farming aphids on your plants. And certain other crawling insects are no better. Baking soda disrupts the surface chemistry that insects rely on to navigate and communicate. Sprinkle a line of dry baking soda around the base of your plants, along garden bed borders, or at entry points where ants are marching in. Reapply after rain. It won't eliminate every ant in the county, but it creates a barrier they are reluctant to cross. Combine it with diatomaceous earth for an even stronger deterrent that costs almost nothing. Use number 5. Boosting seed germination. Before you put your seeds in the ground, try this. Soak your seeds in a mild baking soda solution, about 1 teaspoon per gallon of water, for several hours before planting. Some growers soak overnight. Baking soda softens the seed coat slightly, which helps moisture penetrate more quickly and triggers germination faster. It also creates a mildly alkaline environment that inhibits mold and fungal growth on the seed surface during those vulnerable first days. Gardeners who do this report faster, more even germination, especially with older seeds or seeds with tougher coats like beets, chard, and certain beans. Use number 6. Disinfecting your tools and pots. When you move soil from one bed to another, when you prune a diseased plant and then prune a healthy one, when you replant in a pot that held something that struggled last season, disease travels. Fungal spores, bacteria, pathogens, they hitch rides on your tools and containers. Make a scrub paste with baking soda and a little water. Use it to scrub your pots, trowels, pruning shears, and garden knives. It's abrasive enough to remove residue, alkaline enough to neutralize many pathogens, and completely safe on your hands and your plants. For a deeper clean, soak metal tools in a baking soda solution for 15 minutes before rinsing and drying. Simple, effective. No harsh chemicals needed.
Use number 7. Killing weeds, targeted and direct. This use requires precision because baking soda will affect the soil pH wherever you apply it heavily, so you do not want to broadcast it across your garden beds. But for weeds growing in cracks in your walkway, between pavers, along fence lines, or in areas where you don't want anything growing, sprinkle dry baking soda directly onto the weeds. Coat the leaves. Get it into the crown of the plant. It draws moisture out of the plant tissue. The weed desiccates. Within a few days, it's dead or dying. This works best in dry, sunny conditions. Rain will wash it away. But on a dry week, a box of baking soda can clear a pathway better than expensive chemical herbicides without putting anything toxic into your soil. Use number 8. Activating your compost. Compost piles go through cycles of activity. Bacteria break down organic matter and produce acids as byproducts. Over time, a very active compost pile can become too acidic, which actually slows down the decomposition process. When your compost smells sour or seems to have stalled, when it's not heating up the way it should, your pile may be too acidic. Sprinkle a light handful of baking soda over each layer as you turn the pile. This buffers the pH, brings it back into the optimal range for microbial activity, and gets your compost decomposing actively again. Do not overdo this. A little goes a long way. You want to buffer the pH, not reverse it. 1 or 2 tablespoons per cubic foot of compost is plenty. Use number 9. Boosting foliar nutrient uptake, the one most people miss. This is the one I promised you at the beginning. Stay with me here because this changes how you think about feeding your plants. When you spray fertilizer or liquid nutrients onto your plant leaves, a practice called foliar feeding, the pH of that spray solution dramatically affects how well nutrients are absorbed through the leaf surface. Most water straight from the tap is slightly acidic. When you mix liquid nutrients into it, the solution can become even more acidic. And certain nutrients, particularly calcium, magnesium, and some micronutrients, absorb poorly in acidic foliar sprays. When you add a tiny pinch of baking soda to your foliar spray, about 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon, you slightly raise the pH of the solution toward a range where nutrient absorption through the leaf is significantly more efficient. You're not changing your fertilizer, you're not adding any new nutrients, you are simply making the nutrients you already have work better. Professional hydroponic growers and greenhouse operators understand this. They manage their foliar pH carefully and deliberately. Most home gardeners have never heard of it, and it costs you a pinch of baking soda. 9 users, $1, a box you already own. Powdery mildew, soil pH, sweeter tomatoes, pest barriers, better germination, clean tools, weed control,
compost activation, and nutrient uptake that actually works. The garden centre isn't going to tell you this, the chemical companies aren't going to advertise it, but every single use I've shared with you today is real, tested, and practiced by growers who know what works. You don't have to be a chemist, you don't have to have a big budget, you don't need a fancy setup. You just need that little orange box. Go check your kitchen cabinet, it's probably already there.